Welcome to Mystics View. Sharon Raji Maynard here. And in this growing world of podcasting, there is an increasing variety of subjects, and I love that. When I joined the podcasting community a little over a year ago, I decided to do what I do in my life when I want to begin something. Just jump in. Let it grow organically. A little like the Nike branding of just do it. In our world, we are presented with many problems. Albert Einstein gave great advice that still holds true in this matter when he said, "Problems cannot be solved by the level of knowledge or awareness that created them. We have to get outside of our box of the way we think." It was curiosity that took me on a radical search for answers. And those answers came from the spiritual world, from those teachers that I call the ancient ones. Their knowledge is the foundation for this podcast and the way I see life. Come here as you are to see the situation through my eyes, realizing that diversity is a natural outcome here on the planet, and diversity inspires and expands our capabilities. There is great value in listening deeply to one another. I continue to use space in my art/studio/office as a podcasting booth, and I hope you enjoy these conversations we're having. If so, I would appreciate a rating, some stars at any of the podcast platforms you use, because we're really in life, including this conversation together. And if you want to hold hands with me more deeply, go on over to the Patreon platform, patreon.com/mysticsview, and I'll meet you there. And now, enjoy this episode. Today, I sit in this impeachment swirl, look out and see others in the same boat. I put on my slippers this morning as I climbed out of bed and almost tripped. For years, I've been wearing these house slippers with a leather string threaded through the upper part of the slipper to tie in the front. For all of these years, one or the other or both of the leather bows have come undone to hang onto the floor. And yet it was only this morning that I took out a pair of scissors and cut off the string to a safe size. What took me so long? Why do we tolerate what is dangerous to us? Impeachment on a larger scale shows what happens within an abused person's life, and I propose that we are all living from inherited abuse and trauma. What does that look personally? Well, usually it's a she, trusts the word of a charismatic man, handsome white knight, without being assured that his words are congruent with actions that are beneficial and good. And because deceit may take time to appear, even with due diligence, she may link herself to him. When abuse begins, she's shocked, mistrusts herself. Did she really see her experience correctly? He sends roses, says sorry, goes on Twitter and says, everybody else is wrong, I'm right. And the undeserved loyalty takes over. She tries again. She'll do better this time, walk on eggshells to do it right. And yes, indeed, abuse pops. The string of the slipper comes undone. She questions what she did wrong. His words melt away her own sense of reality. She sides with him against her own best interests, and each time returns to the game with an eroded sense of reality, doubting her own experience, and the cycle continues. Abuse is normalized. Her energy, her self-worth are constantly sucked away. If she does reach out to tell others, It's not unusual that they reflect her own doubts and label her as the problem, out of control or unbalanced. Fake news, when you add the dimension of genetic patterns of trauma that will be triggered, the ancient inner voices of "you're not enough" ringing through her head, and with none of those being addressed and healed, you have a disaster in the making. And the possibility of impeachment. For those who work in the unseen energy field, there is even more dangerous components to the story. The energy and influence from outside forces whose agendas are to control and dominate. Parasitic by nature. These beings thrive on energy created by abuse, doubt, powerlessness, pain. They swarm to the situations, anchoring into the home, on and within the bodies of individuals. Planting themselves, they have left a clear path for others of their ilk to join them. Now, you may find the concept that there are those in our midst who want to own, dominate, and control very uncomfortable. These parasitic beings hope that you do, because if you do not identify them, their agenda, and power to escalate, we will never be free of them. The parasitic's primary aim is to attach themselves to weakened women. A weakened woman is the parasitic's host of choice, keeping women, specifically women, confused, lonely, believing they are not enough, removes the very ones who were intended to be the authority voice with zero tolerance for domination and control anywhere in the world. Do you understand? It is not the male in patriarchy that is the problem. The patriarchy is a creation of these outside parasitics. The problem is that the authority voice of women was crushed along with the serpent eons ago. It is the souls in female bodysuits who have not done their job. Their lack of presence, safeguarding, authority allowed the situations in our world today. The impeachment gives all women the opportunity to pick up the torch of authority, and with that true voice, to turn to those intended to help, the unlimited teams of integrity in the unseen worlds that I call the PTO. We have also been asking for change to the wrong group, the elected officials in physical bodies. Turn to the ones intended to hear the cries of those in female bodies, the PTO teams with archangels in the spiritual realm. Roar, pray, demand to those unseen worlds, no more, not acceptable, remove the outsiders. During the length of the impeachment trial, we have the opportunity to continue that demand day and night around the world. How? At any sight, sense, thought, statement, or concept that feels off, declare to the unseen PTO teams, this that I see, hear, feel, or sense is not acceptable. Bring out the vacuum of removal. And then maintain that stand and declaration every moment if necessary until you feel an inner sense of calm. You're invited to do this during the ongoing impeachment, using the proceedings as a surrogate for all situations of deceit, domination, and abuse. Sisters, we, meaning our ancestral mothers, were crushed eons ago, which allowed the culture of supremacy, racism, patriarchy, we see today to exist. We are the key to removing the agendas that created this culture, which will cause supremacy, racism, patriarchy to be dismantled. Do you understand? Good. Feel your roots going deep into Mother Earth to entwine in the strength of sisterhood. And from that rooted place, stand, roar, and lead. You can find more information about the PTO, about classes to understand and learn more on the links with this podcast and this video. Many blessings. We've got this. Thanks for coming along and sharing this episode. These various stories may stretch your mind, challenge your dogma, awaken you to new possibilities, or resonate with your own experiences. I'd love to hear any of that. You can always find me on Facebook at A Mystic's View, of course, and the same on YouTube, A Mystic's View. When you see the value of this podcast, please share with your friends. And I would love to have you give us a rating. Some stars would be wonderful. You can become a member of the Mystics View community on Patreon, where you can support us at any level. And we're really a growing community with all the gifts and ideas that I'm sharing back into that group. So there you can find us at www.patreon.com/A Mystic's View. The pressures of this world are rising. And what does that mean? And how can you effectively respond? My intentions is that my stories and sharings through this podcast will give you more insight, encouragement, and help you discover your own magnificent connection to that self beyond sight. It's a strong place to build from. Until next time.